One of the reasons that I've been very involved in questions of social justice here in the St. Louis area recently has to do with the fact that, though you might not know it by looking at me, I'm the father of a 13-year-old black boy. And my son has dreadlocks and is a wonderful young man, as are my other two children, wonderful young man and woman. But when he goes out the door, I know that he is in danger of a kind different than his white brother and white sister are. I worry about how he interacts with the world and the police and how the economic systems in which we live and with which we relate will react towards him. And so as a father, I ache as I think about what it means to be involved in those systems. I remember that the Christian Church Disciples of Christ met for our General Assembly in Orlando a couple of years ago. And at the same time that we were meeting, the NAACP was meeting. And it was the time at which a court case was being settled that had to do with an important crime that had racial elements. And as we were sitting there in the hotel hot tub one evening, there were members from the NAACP meeting with us, and I was sitting between my two sons, my 17-year-old white son and my, at that time, 11-year-old black son. And a black member of the NAACP was saying to me, "How can I raise my teenage son in a world where young teenage black boys can be shot and no justice comes?" And I remember thinking to myself, that poor man, how can he live worrying about his black son going out there in the streets? And then I realized that my arm was around my own black son. For some reason, I hadn't internalized the fact that my black son had to live in the same world that his black son had to live in. And I think the reason is, I live in this skin. And I get so many privileges, and I get to live in this skin without having to think seriously about those things. So much so that I hadn't even really taken it seriously that my sons were seen differently in this world. And it made me think about how important it is for me to listen to the experiences of others, and how important it is that in whatever way we can be a presence of justice, we are helping to end injustice.